Bone meal for days, bone meal for days, bone meal for days, bone. Hey guys, Profe Pablo here, Spanish teacher turned Minecraft engineer. Today we are focusing on bone meal farms. Not farms that use bone meal, but farms that create bone meal. We're going to be looking at a moss farm, and one that I made recently, but I just made it a lot larger and more efficient, is this fish farm, which also gives you bone meal. We're going to put the two to the test and see which one wins in a bone meal race. Stick to the end to see the results. Okay, so for said fish farm, you need to come out to the middle of an ocean. I mean, not the middle, just, far away from land. You're going to swim down to the ocean floor, and you're going to build up to Y level 120. At Y level 120, build a 4x4 platform. Actually, let's extend that out and make it a 6x4. On the front of what would be your 4x4, place a double chest. Looks like Star Wars ships out there. Place down 4 hoppers going into a chest. Build up 1 row of blocks around those hoppers. Build up another row of blocks around those hoppers. Build up another row of blocks right here. And 1 more right here. So that's 3 rows above the hoppers. Lay down 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. Then you are going to make another row, but you're going to make it complete over the chest, making a 4x4 square. Do that again. Then come out to a corner and build out 16 blocks. Yes, I know that's a lot of blocks, and trust me, it's going to get worse. But it's worth it. Do that on the other side as well. Then, I know this will take forever in survival, but you are going to make 16 of these rows just like this. We're basically making a 36 by 36 platform. Again, will be worth it. Oops, forgot to narrate that. Fill in the sides next to that hole, and now extend this part out 16 blocks as well. After you have your ridiculously large platform, build 1 row around the entire edge. Now for this part, you will need 2 water buckets. You place 1 there, skip a block, place 1 there. This one's now infinite water, grab from that, skip a block, place again, grab from the middle, skip a block, place again, and you're going to do this the entire way around this platform. Okay, if you did it right, you should have this whole thing as a water source, except for this middle, which kind of flows down. As you can see, we already have fish going down. Might want to place some lights over here. It's really dark. Then we want those fish to cook, so we don't have to cook them ourselves. We're going to place campfires. And glass so that we can see the fish cooking. Then we'll set up an AFK spot, which is basically just 10 blocks up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I make that out of glass so I can see what's going on. And then we would stand here and wait. I know that this was similar to a video I did recently, but making it much bigger actually helped the rates significantly. All right, as you can see, fish are spawning. They are swimming to the middle. We're going to stand here and test it. But before we do that, we are going to go build our moss farm. So this moss and azalea farm, I actually stole the idea from Shulker Craft. He is pretty amazing, and I was really impressed. I had no idea moss farms could even make bone meal, but to understand his build myself, I kind of had to design from scratch just so I could understand the mechanics. So this is actually my build. The redstone is different from his, and I understand it better because I did it myself. So let's go ahead and build this moss farm. First, we are going to find a space. I think this space will do just fine. Usually we start with the end in mind, but this time we are actually going to have to start with the beginning. So I'm going to build up a couple blocks here and then build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. On those 7 blocks, I'm going to lay down 7 pistons. Behind those 7 pistons, I'm going to lay down 7 more blocks. Then I'm going to put some blocks on the side here, some blocks on the side here, and I'm going to lay a row of blocks there. Then I'm going to build kind of a trough here. That's where our lava's going to go in a minute. So you get something that looks like this. We're going to take redstone and put it all along the back of the pistons like that. Take 1 observer facing this way, and another observer facing that way, and put a block there, and we're going to connect that in just a minute. Now, if you're on a floor, you don't need to worry about this part, but I built my build a little bit high, so I'm going to build out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks. I'm going to extend that platform this way, right under the pistons. Okay, and then come to the side and extend the walls all the way to the end as well, just like this. Now I'm going to come over here and waterlog each one of the pistons. You do that by crouching and placing your water. Needs to be on every single piston. Then I'm going to take my lava and place a lava bucket on each one of these blocks. And if we come down here, you see that creates stone. So back here, I'm going to go ahead and connect my redstone by placing redstone here. And it's basically a stone generator, so it's going to start pushing stone out this way. Okay, I apparently didn't count correctly because this floor needs to come all the way to the end of the stone, just like that. So you have something that looks like that, very clean. Now, from the very front of your build, count back 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right here on the wall, build up 1, 2, 3 blocks, just like that. Do the same thing on the other side of the build. And then you're going to place pistons facing down, just like this, all the way to the other side of the build, like that. Place a wall behind those pistons. That's going to keep the water coming from the pistons flowing this way. And go ahead and build up this wall, just like this. And you want to make that at least 2 blocks high. We are going to enclose these pistons in blocks just like that. So you get something that looks like this. Then what we are going to do is waterlog each one of those pistons. The water should flow to the edge. If the water flows straight to the edge, you did it correctly. Now this next part is where the redstone comes in and it gets a little complicated. So try and follow along exactly. I did optimize this farm for best performance, so you kind of have to do this exactly right. Starting from this corner right here, build out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. Make 2 rows of that. On the 4th block in, place down a temporary block, a hopper going into that block, break that block, and make a hopper going into that hopper. Place a comparator, comparator, repeater, repeater. If you've ever seen my builds, you know what I'm doing. Redstone, redstone, redstone. Redstone, 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 sticky piston, redstone block. This clock is going to control the rest of our farm. From this sticky piston come out 1 block, put a temporary block, place a block here, and a block here, break this block. You don't want many blocks on this level because that'll keep moss from growing. So we're trying to build them at least 2 blocks above where the moss is going to grow. Kind of making an L shape right here, just like this. Temporary block, 1 block below, and glass above. Break that block. We're going to run our redstone this way, just like this, and it splits like that. So the glass allows that signal to split. Now we are going to place a dispenser facing the front, just like this, a hopper going into that dispenser, and a sticky piston on top of that dispenser, like that. Go ahead and extend your redstone out on top of that sticky piston. Now you are going to need a moss block. I hear that you can get this from Lush Caves, which might not be in your world yet if you're not using experimental mode, or you can get them from wandering traders. So wandering traders are actually good for something. So on our build over here, we're going to place a crate. Under the crate, we're going to place a block, then another block, then 1 more block. Place down a comparator facing this way. And then from this block, right here, place another one, then another comparator facing that way. That way, when this piston is extended, these comparators read this. We actually need to put some items in this. We're gonna put 64 of whatever we want. Just a stack, that'll give that a redstone signal, and this will read the redstone signal. Now, right here, we are going to put a block. That comparator is gonna power this block. Notice that I broke this temporary block here. We're going to place another block there, breaking this temporary block. So comparator goes into a block. And actually right here, we need a piston. So this piston cleans this moss block so that it can receive more bone meal later. Put a redstone dust here. Now, to fully optimize this farm, you need 16 items in one of these hoppers. That can be any item you like. I just happen to have gunpowder because I have a creeper video coming out soon. So let me explain this clock real quick. We have this timer that goes up here, dispenses bone meal, delays the signal so that the bone meal has time to activate this block, but then cleans the block with the piston, extends this so that we can activate these pistons. Now watch how we're going to do that. Actually, first we need to extend this bone meal thing this way. So place a hopper going into that, hopper going into that, all the way to the side, just like that. Now we are going to place a block here and here. Now we do have to reverse this signal. So to do that, we need a torch right here, and we're going to extend the signal this way. I'll need to place another hopper here. So I have a block, a hopper. I can take my redstone, crouch, place it. Oh man, I hate that glitch. Crouch, place it on top of the hopper. I'm just gonna extend it this way, placed a block there, and run this all along the pistons. Now, when these pistons turn on, they actually stop the water that's inside of them. And then when they close, they release the water. I could do this with dispensers, but dispensers, you have to click twice for them to suck the water back in. So this actually works better. Okay, now that we've done some redstone wizardry, it is time to do our collection system. So right here, we are going to extend this out just like this. We're simply making a trough. I'm going to extend the floor out one more, and the walls with it. Now this part I like making it of glass, just like that, because you can see what's going on. I'm making it 3 tall because otherwise the moss, as it breaks, does pop over sometimes. Grab water, place it there. That's gonna flow down this way, and we want it to. Break where the water should come out, and it comes right here to the edge. Now I'm gonna place a temporary block, place a hopper going down, place some temporary blocks here because what I need is place a sticky piston here so that I can grab that hopper and pull it away. Place a double chest here under the piston. It will open because the piston is not a solid block. And the reason we want this is if we don't want this to turn into bone meal and we just want to keep the azalea plants, we could just pull the piston this way and keep them. Now here we are going to place a composter. Below the composter, we are going to place a hopper going sideways. So I need a block there, kind of coming back here. Get out of the way. Place a hopper going into that block, break that block, place another hopper going into that block, and over here we are going to start our elevator. Now we need 2 droppers, and I'm going to break this out to make my redstone. So you could use a double observer for this, but I'm just going to do the comparator, repeater, redstone, 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 and repeater. And I'm actually going to go ahead and cover that up because if water escapes somehow, I don't want it to ruin my redstone. That happened when I was practicing. Now for this part, you will need solid blocks or glass. I suggest glass so you could see, but you have to cover all 4 sides of this dropper. And then you have to build that up to the level that we want. The level that we want is one above here. So that's going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that on each column. And oddly enough, we are going to do it in the middle. So you might need to crouch. Then the glass block that's facing this way, we're going to break. So our items are going to get pushed through this glass and pop out here. Now we just need a trough that leads them this way. And where this broken glass is, I'm actually going to lead that way. And I think they might be able to make it over here to this hopper. Let's test that out. So I'm just building up this trough. I will need to place a bucket of water. It does, but it broke my redstone. So what I need to do is place another hopper right here, going into that hopper. Place a button on that hopper so that it stops flowing. And actually, it looks like everything's going to get caught there, so never mind. I'm going to go ahead and extend this all the way out to this way. Now place a button on this hopper. There we go. Extend my redstone again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to go. So to get this thing going, you just need a couple pieces of bone meal. The bone meal is going to get pushed in to this block, which is a moss block, which turns stone into moss and azalea plants. The pistons back here that are creating the stone are able to push moss blocks, so they break and pop out. And then the moss blocks get pushed down here into this composter, making bone meal, which eventually pops up here, goes into the system, and that creates more bone meal. Now, you don't see any bone meal in here because we have to let it gather. So look, we have 2 there. In a minute, we're going to have 3. It keeps using the same bone meal to make more bone meal. Okay, guys, and now it's time for the challenge. Who will win? Massive fish farm or moss farm? So we are going to let this thing run for about 10 minutes and see what happens. All right, guys, this farm has been going for 10 minutes. Let's check the results. Eventually, you'll be able to gather bone meal from these hoppers, but we're going to look back here. And we got half a stack of bone meal. That's pretty good for 10 minutes. So the math on that is this. Guys, again, that's really awesome. And check this out. Okay, I just realized a mistake. This whole piston idea is not going to work. But if you wanted to get the loot, you could either stand here or move this hopper and have it go into a chest. But let's say that you did want the loot. It's kind of cool because azalea plants and flowering azaleas can be used for fuel. Now, it's not very efficient fuel, but essentially because of this farm, you have infinite fuel. Hey, that's another video idea. Okay, so we got the idea with the piston, destroy that. Now let's go ahead and head over to our fish farm and try that out. Okay, we are going to be fair, make sure that's at 0. Come up to our AFK spot and wait 10 minutes. Okay, it has been 10 minutes. Let's go down and check. We still have fish coming in. This thing's crazy. And oh my gosh. Guys, seriously, this was only 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and pull this out. We won't count the rest that are coming in. And you can hear the gross sound of fish in the background. So in 10 minutes, we almost got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5 stacks of bone meal in 10 minutes. Let's do the math on that. Okay, so the obvious winner is the crazy fish farm. This thing gives you so much bone meal, so much meat, you won't even know what to do with it all. And again, I know I already did a video on this, but this size seems to work really, really well as far as spawn radius goes. I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 amazing bone meal farms. I'll be making plenty of farms coming soon that actually use bone meal in them, so you'll definitely want one of these farms for your world. As always, thanks for watching.